Hello and welcome to my presentation. My name is Gabriel Munyaradzi Masenda. Shortly, I will take you through a presentation of my research that I conducted at my place of work. I will begin by giving a brief introduction and putting the research into context. Then I will go through the reasons why I decided on the aims and objectives, and will touch on some of the literature that gave me the idea and supported my research, followed by the questionnaire and what the questions aimed to find out with regards to the aims of the study. I will then go through how I analyzed the information that I received from the questionnaires, and then will present the data to each of the questions. To finish up, I will give some recommendations based from the results of the study and also offer some future research ideas on this area. This presentation shouldn't take more than 15 minutes, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. To begin with the introduction and to put things into context, where is the study taking place? The study is taking place in a 5-star hotel in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, where I live and work. Being an Islamic country, there were certain questions I couldn't ask and things I couldn't do. For example, I couldn't directly interact with the guests, and I could not name the hotel. Also, there are questions I couldn't ask, and did these have an impact on how I conducted my research? Why is the study taking place? My current hotel is considering changing the minibar products from the current ones that we have, which are specifically designed for the hotel. The packaging and the containers are designed only for the hotel and have got only the hotel labels on it. No other labels can be seen on that label, although the products inside are from the manufacturer. How will the hotel benefit from the research? This study seeks to build an understanding that can be used by the hotel management and support them in making their decision to whether they will switch to the manufacturer branded items. By looking at the products from a customer's perception, we can have a look into how the customers are likely to react to the new products. To begin by getting into the aims and objectives, the research aim is written so that the research can focus on how consumers will perceive a producer branded item against that of a private branded item. For the objectives, I was heavily influenced by the paper written by Keller and Lehman in 2006 titled Brands and Branding, Research Findings and Future Priorities. They listed many studies that have been conducted with regards to brand and branding. One particular study by Fournier in 1998 titled Consumers and Their Brands looked into the relationships consumers formed with their brands. This gave me an idea into whether the hotel's consumers have a strong relationship with the hotel brand on minibar products or not. Now I'm going to go through the questionnaire questions, but before I do that, I just want to explain why I decided to go with the questionnaire as my method to gather the data. The hotel objected to physical interaction with the guests due to the Islamic law again. Since the minibar can only be found in the room, the questionnaire card had to be placed there, and this was placed together with the 2 packets of chips, one with the hotel brand and one with the manufacturer brand, and an explanatory letter which the hotel agreed to write and place it for me in the room. The first question was asked was male or female. The management wanted to find out which gender responded, and if one gender responded more than the other, then they would design the minibar products to suit that gender more. If most of the consumers didn't use the minibar, then the results from this research would not have a big impact compared to the results of the consumers if the consumers frequently use the minibar. This is just basically common sense. Here I was trying to find out which package would catch the eye of the consumers and attract them to it. if they were more attracted to the one, they would then definitely buy that or consume that packet more often than the other. Interestingly, from my readings from Woolfolk, Castellan and Brooks in 1983 in their paper Pepsi versus Coke, Labels, Not Taste Prevail, their respondents were highly influenced by the labels on the outside of the container, even though the inside was basically the same. And I want to find out if this could be the same for my research, because the chips are produced by the same producer, but the packaging is different. This question would find out whether consumers would purchase the manufacturer product or not. This would be a strong indicator for the management to decide which product they should place in the minibar. Chi, Ye and Yang in 2009 in their paper The Impact of Brand Awareness on Consumer Purchase Intention, the mediating effect of perceived quality and brand loyalty, identified that if consumers had a high brand awareness on a product, they would more likely purchase that product over other brands. I wanted to find out if there was a link between the answers from this question and from the answers previous to this one, which is the which product would you most likely purchase. Now that we've gone through the questions, I just want to go through how I managed to collect the data and to be able to analyze it. I had 2 days to collect the information from the rooms. 50 questionnaires were placed and 32 were filled out and collected, and which gave me a return percent of 64%. Now, females had a higher response, and this could be explained because that this research was conducted on a weekend where the hotel has a higher Arabic guest occupancy, and normally it's the female Arab guests who usually stay in the room longer than their male counterparts, and they were the ones who were exposed to this questionnaire. With regards to how often they used a minibar, they were given 3 options, could be selected: often, sometimes, and never or never. The reason why never is that also some of the Arab guests asked for the minibar to be removed from the room as it contains alcohol. 2 chip packets were placed next to the questionnaire card. The chip packet with a producer brand was given an A, and the hotel branded chips were given a B. And then the guests were asked to choose which one was the better one that they preferred when it came to which product has a more attractive packet, which product has a better taste, which product would you most likely purchase. When it came to why would you purchase that product, at this stage I gave the space for the guests to fill in why they selected that product, so they could write as they wish and whatever they preferred. Now I'm going to go through each question one by one and go through how the data and analyze it. With regards to the male and female percentages, females responded more than males, so 63% of the females compared to only 37. And as mentioned earlier, the research was conducted on a weekend with a high occupancy of Arabic guests, and the Arabic guests, ladies, generally tend to stay in the room more than men, and this means that the ladies are more exposed to the minibar and are more likely to consume the minibar. And then, as the hotel management requested for this, they could then look at how to target the females more, or they could look at how to put more products for the males so that the males can also consume the minibar. This statistic could also be used as a reference for future studies looking at the use of the minibar. With regards to how often do you use the minibar, 3 options were given: often, sometimes, or never. More than 50% of the respondents sometimes used the minibar. What is positive is that 84% of the respondents do use the minibar. This is good news, as the results that are collected are from good sources and are credible, because the people who responded consume the minibar. Now going to question 2, 3, and 4, here the respondents were asked to select between the product A and product B. Question 2, which product has a more attractive packet? So an overwhelmingly 72% of respondents selected the national brand packet as being more attractive. And this could be because the packet had a lot more colors and the picture on the packet was more eye-catching than the single color on the hotel product. Question 3, which product has better taste? This was a very interesting result considering that the chips contained in both packets are from the exact same producer and have the exact same flavor. However, because most respondents identified the national brand to be more attractive, they also went along with believing that the taste was superior to that of the hotel branded chips. Which product are you most likely to purchase was question 4. And from the results, this is good news for the hotel managers who are considering to switch to national brand, as the respondents who use the minibar are more in favor of buying the national branded chips than the hotel branded chips. However, this question alone cannot pinpoint why they would want to buy it. Hence, answers from the next question would provide an insight into why they selected the national product, product A. Question number 5 was, why would you buy that product? The answers here provided support into why the respondents would consider to purchase the chips that they selected. From the answers written by the respondents, reasons were put into categories so that a common trend could be analyzed. And by far was brand recognition, which was mentioned 12 times by the respondents. And one of the reasons given was that brand, the manufacturer brand, chips, were the guest's favorite. The second one was value, which was mentioned 10 times in the reasons. And one of the guests also mentioned that the manufacturer brand was bigger, which meant that it provided more value to buy that. Taste, surprisingly, was mentioned 5 times in the reasons, and the guest said that they knew that manufacturer brand tastes very good. I found that 2 studies had very similar results to what I found. The first one was from Chi, Ye, and Yang in 2009 in their study, The Impact of Brand Awareness on Consumer Purchase Intention, the Mediating Effect of Perceived Quality and Brand Loyalty. So they did a research into the brand awareness and consumer purchase intentions and identified that if consumers had a high brand awareness on a product, they would more likely purchase that product over the other brands. The research I conducted provided support for this theory, as respondents mentioned brand awareness as being one of the reasons they would purchase the national branded chips. The other study was from Woolfolk, Castellan and Brooks in 1983, Pepsi versus Coke, labels, not tastes prevail. In this research, their respondents were highly influenced by the taste perceptions and the labels on the outside of the container. In my research, a similar occurrence did take place in that even though the chips were of the same flavor and from the same supplier, there was a more dominance from the national branded product. My recommendations are based from the results from this study, and I highly recommend to the hotel to replace the hotel branded minibar products with the manufacturer branded products, as the respondents in this research would prefer to buy the manufacturer branded products. My second recommendation would be for the hotel to target the woman, because they spend most of the time in the room with the minibar. So by putting products that are more targeted for them, they could increase their revenue. Because of where I live in the United Arab Emirates, there are a couple of things that I couldn't do, and these are where I think there could be areas for future research areas. One of them is that you could add more questions to the questionnaire, because I was limited by the hotel management because of the sensitivity of the UAE culture. I couldn't ask some of the questions that I would have preferred to ask. For example, the age group of people. I couldn't ask how old people were or their age groups. And the second one, which is quite interesting, would be to look at alcohol, for example, and look at alcohol and look at two well-known brands and compare them in that situation. For example, looking at the Mercedes-Benz label on a whiskey that is, like, for example, produced by Johnny Walker, and comparing it to see if you could get the similar results that I got in this research, or how different would the results be. The references are in Harvard style, and these are the ones that I was using during my narration, and can be found in more details on this page. This brings us to the end of the presentation. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope that you will be able to use some of the results that I have put in. My name is Gabriel Masenda. Goodbye.